or not. But first, we got
oh my goodness,
starting grid here this evening. As taking the top spot, his first pole of the season, it's going to be the one machine taking that number one spot of Zach Hall to his outside in the 16 machine, who was the fastest during practice. He'll be the second fastest during qualifying. It's Joshua
hide the screen
for himself. Behind them in row number 2, we find the 51.
We didn't get 26 on qualifying.
Who also looks to be
that's
a threat here tonight.
That's an illusion you are currently experiencing.
Back in season 8, Larry Yingling, who's also Richard's pick. They would fall back to 5th position with James Scioli at 77. Brian P. Johnson, Robert's pick, will start in 6th place. 7th, it's going to be my pick of Brian Kelly in a 3.
Did not happen.
8th, we find the 7 of Douglas.
That 2-6 you see on your screen,
the double zero going to be
wherever it's at.
Finishing off our top 10, it's going to be Nick Crawford in the
It's not true.
Yeah, and P11, we're going to have Cedric Hunter in the Hello Kitty number 13 to his outside. Ollie Fonseca in number 24.
Stage at 20.
Gavin Rogers not having the strongest, or pole setter last season. P13 in the 75 with Ken in the 15 and P14. In 15th position, we're going to have Chad Wilkes in the number 6. And in 16th, Ross Tatum in 21. Number 27, Jarrett Talmadge is going to be starting 17th on the outside. Levi Cox, who's just above that cut line, in 18th, and then number 99. Starting in 19th position, we're going to have Shane Tarian in the number 9, and his outside 20th position, Cameron Thompson in the 41.
In 21st position, we find the 88 of Drew Jua. Back in 22nd place, you double it, you find the 44 of John Ross. In 23rd, it's the 02 of Connor Berry. In 24th, we find the other 2 machine of Danny Cochran. In
41 drivers.
2 of Leroy Koblitz. 26th, we find the 8 machine of
42 if the last guy joins.
With Ryan Ferraro, as well as GT Rosario, going to be in 27th and 28th. Jared Hughes in the 68 will be in 29th position. Justin Malarkey in the 73 will be down in 30th.
In 31st, returning from a break, Brendan Colley is back in the number 78, and to the outside, Bill Hull in 32nd in the 48 car. In 33rd, we're going to have Tom Sinchek in the number 26, and to his outside, Cody Reed in 34th. In 37th, 35. In 35th, we're going to have Tyler Dingler in the 19, and to his outside, Timothy Harper in the 18 and 36th position.
All right, man,
37th is going to be Christopher Wade and Ben Kinney in 38. John Forbes sitting back in 39th in the 11. Christopher Norris not getting the qualification lap down in 40th position. Chris Stitz in 41, and to round out the field, Adam Krause in 42nd.
42 drivers made it here tonight, and that was a worry for some, because if you did not put a qualifying time in and we had over 43 drivers, one of them was not going to be able to race here tonight. 43 is the maximum drivers can race here on WSSR each night, and cutoff numbers would have been interesting to watch with some of the drivers returning that have not been here. Like you said, Brandon Colley, the big return. It's great to see Colley back out on track, a veteran of the WSSR. Going to be hitting the course here. We'll see if Pocono is going to be good graces for that machine. Being up front, though, Zach Paul, Joshua Kanata, hoping for a solid run. If you look at the past here at Pocono, if you start...
I love these big car count races.
Back in season 6, it was made by Brian P. Johnson, who got the pole and won the race. But 4th place seems to be the money spot. If you've started 4th, you've won 2 out of the 3 last Pocono races. That's where Larry Yingling rides. We'll see if the numbers line up for either of those 2, or will it be someone else hitting victory lane here tonight. Pocono, race number 2 of the WSSR Cup Series Season 10 is great. As Joshua Kanata as well as Zach Hall take us down into turn number 1. Richard, here we go as they try their first attempt, scattering in this first corner.
And the excitement starts as they dive into turn 1. We got some 3 wide back in the pack.
Impressive.
And it looks like it is going to be Zachary Hall taking the lead out of turn 1, followed shortly by Joshua Kanata. It does look like they're all starting to square out and get in line. This is a long, actually really short stage, only 20 laps. So we'll see how calm these guys can be, or how aggressive they're going to be for these first 20 laps as they round turn 2. Zach Hall extending that lead.
Extending the lead, and we'll see if different picks in on front stretch. The 1 just got a much cleaner launch than anyone else, and has been able to pull away from the 16 machine, but they're going to be stacked 2 by 2 from 3rd on back. A lot of drivers trying to find spacing to move forward and hoping it's their lane. It's able to back on and go forward as Zach Hall in the 1 machine will lead the first lap here tonight last season's champion, wanting to get on the right foot in the winning column. And if he can get it done here tonight, a great positive return for a very poor race that he had last week at Atlanta. Just was never able to find space to move forward, as some drivers, though, get a little bit of smoke trying to hold steady in the middle of the field. And that's going to be the big problem of the night. Exit of one. How many drivers can hold on after big slides?
Yeah, one inside.
Yeah, big slides are going to be a key to watch out for, especially turn 2, because that is a very tight turn. You get really loose. The car unloads really well there. And if you're side by side, I mean, it can be disaster for a lot of cars. But they were able to save it. Everyone kind of stand out a little bit, but everyone's back in the groove, back lining up, getting the draft.
Outside.
And we're starting to see a lot of just single file racing now, which is kind of expected here at Pocono.
Single file until you fall all the way back to practically last place, where they are still 2x2 and almost 3 wide for a quick moment. That's going to be a lot of battling around 32nd position, where we find John Force, Tyler Danger, Christopher Norris, and others still trying to fight 3 wide, just trying to find any space possible to go forward. And what's troubling for them is that we have a lot of fast guys that are stepped up here. John Force, one of them that we're riding on board with. You have last week's winner, Cody Reed, right from the 31st position. These drivers, you've got Drew Jula, Chris Stitz, Brian P. Johnson, the 2-time winner of this race, stuck further on back, and they've got a lot of work to try to move forward. And it's going to be a tough night. Be all the way back outside of the top 30.
Yeah, that's going to be really rough. It's going to be a long, long race for those guys, because it is not quick to move up through the field here. It's not like the packs together. You can make passes 3 wide and zoom on by people like we were seeing it at Atlanta. The people moved up through the field fast there. But here, it's a lot of momentum. You got to have the right runs coming out of the turns or going into the turns and make those aggressive moves. So it's going to be a long, grueling race for a lot of these fast guys in the back. They're going to have to weave in and out of traffic to try and figure out how to get around these slow guys.
A big reason why end-of-the-line penalty is given out for some of the drivers to start this evening, one of those being for Brian P. Johnson, as well for Drew Jula to start tonight's race. So we got a lot of work to go forward, but already up front battling for the top spot, it's Joshua Kanata and Zach Hall side by side, as these drivers are rocketing down into turn number 3, hoping for a clean exit if possible.
Dang, he hit the wall.
The outside.
Slowed him up.
Slight advantage as they come up to the outside wall, and draft to help goes to the outside groove as Larry Yingling follows this one machine forward.
Oh, big wreck.
He's trying to side draft, and that's the big advantage for these compared to the trucks they expect.
Ooh, hold your brake.
Fast here on freaking fast broadcasting. Oh no! Trouble strikes Cedric Hunter and others into turn number 1. It's the big one.
I almost got hit.
Still piling in.
Jesus Lord, you saw
Not often do you see a big one happen here, but that was a huge hit for Cedric Hunter, and the car's just sliding down the track, and nobody had anywhere to go. That was a rough hit for Cedric and all the cars involved.
And it looked to be Cedric Hunter, Vincent Sora, the big grouping, and Brian Noel, drivers that are around one another.
I don't care what anybody else
found themselves in this incident, and just would look like bad bumps heading into the corner.
I'm happy.
As they exit out of turn number 3, head down to this long stretch, the longest part of this whole entire race. And the big thing of note, you've got yourselves a 77.
I hit the brake. I didn't have any brake. So I'm guessing that's what happened to everybody else.
Of Brian Noel, all going to be on top of one another, but it looks like it's Vincent Sora who gets the bad bump out of control, gets into the 13, and then it's just madness and pandemonium that strikes afterwards.
Y'all don't mind me asking, what brake bias y'all running?
See very often here is really bad pushes, but that's what happens with different braking.
All right, because I just hit my brake there trying to avoid an accident, lock the fronts up.
That's just what that was, a product of just different brake zones and people not expecting it. And then just the cars clearing down the track, and everyone had to separate, just hardly anywhere to go. But unfortunate break for Cedric Hunter.
Yeah, Derek, don't go back to qualifying, because iRacing was saying 26. I don't believe it, but that's where it put me at.
Because they're just riding along, trying to head in.
For some reason, it put a 2 on the front of it.
Skyly pumped to the 51, then away they go. Just there's no way to react to that situation when you're those 3 drivers of Sora, Hunter, as well as seen right here Noel. As it's gonna be.
We just dodged a big wreck by about 2 inches.
The incident had already completed.
Got the wrong brake bias. Done worn out my right front, so we're doing good.
Already happened. People are stopping, and you just have another car coming in, just almost full steam, and just get a rear end of some of Jared Hughes there. Unfortunate to see. Hopefully some of these guys can at least get some repairs done and recover at least some kind of a run, because that won't be the last and only caution this race.
No, and we've seen this in the past here at Pocono. There's a small chance of races finding themselves with just minimal amount of cautions. Back in season 2, when they first ran here at Pocono,
yeah, that ain't happening.
Cautions were thrown. Season 6, there was only one caution thrown, and that was for the stage break. But the last time they ran back in season 8, that was when they were in the Gen 4 car at the time. And
you have to get top 10 in these things.
Easy to spin and wreck, but they had a total of 8 cautions that night. And they're hoping not to be getting close.
This is the first time racing in a draft. I didn't get to practice a draft.
When we went green, this stage is very short when you look at the numbers. Just 20 laps. And with having a caution in the middle of it, it makes it even that much shorter.
It really does. Now it's just basically a sprint.
So I'm learning slowly.
I mean, we only completed like 5-6 green flag laps there. So it's going to get even more aggressive for the drivers that want to come up and try to get that top 10 to get those points, because points matter. Every point you can gain is a point or position up in the
Heck no, Derek. I'm
to try to make that cut.
Qualifying mid-pack back.
A lot of aggression there already. Some bad,
No, I don't get it.
In different brake zones for the checkups. So we'll see how aggressive these guys get. And we saw,
the other cars, I got a system down, but that system don't work for this.
He was really aggressive last week, which helped score him that win. Let's see if he can.
And I don't drive it enough to learn a new system, so
get some stage points to continue his run for this championship now.
Lights are still on. As we wait for the lights to turn off, that will give us the 1 to go indicator. As we're still waiting, you don't have to wait for very much longer on ad reads, as we've got a special thank you from GTR Simulators. GTR Simulators is one of the best places to go if you're looking to have a racing rig for yourself, to have your racing steering wheel, pedals set up together. GTR Simulators is partnered up with Stake F1 Sauber to feature their special edition GTA Compact V2 Stake F1 team kicks off
5 minutes.
Official license.
They got to replace the motor in that thing.
Sauber Motorsports AG. Go head over to GTRsimulators.com and remember to use the promo code WSSR for 10% off. That's at GTR Simulators.
That's another thing about these big car count fields.
With the GTR.
That right there. So that guy is a front runner.
Hey, Doug,
Vincent.
Thank you so much to GTR.
And now he's on the trailer 2 weeks in a row.
Maybe.
With the WSSR Cup Series as a major partner that's joined with the WSSR over this off-season. We're so proud to have them coming on board for season number 10. As well, a huge thank you to a sponsor that's carried on as the WSSR made their great return back in season number 4. It's been incredible to have Trophy Smacks as one of the trophy providers for the WSSR Cup Series. First, it was rings for 3 seasons in a row, and the last 3, it has been championship trophies customized for the championship winners of Benjamin Nelson, who won back-to-back, and then last season it was Zach Hall's championship win. As you're going to TrophySmack.com, check out their wide selection of trophies that you can have for yourself for winning high moments or for losing low moments. They got trophies customized and pre-made for you. Remember to go to TrophySmack.com and use the promo code WSSRSmack for 10% off. As the Trophy Smack machine up front from Zach Hall wants to continue to stay up front. He's being heavily pressured by Joshua Kanata. See if the 16 has any other fighting windows to try to attack this one, or will the rest of the field just get too antsy and say it's go time? Get stage break at the end of lap 20. We're coming up to the start of lap number 9. You will have only 12 laps to get inside of the top 10 if you want bonus points. Let's see whose aggression is on a high as your bottom 2 drivers get a great launch for Hall and Yingling. Kanata kind of stuck where he's at right now. No assistance just yet as they head down into turn number 1. Here we go, Richard. Rest of the field, they're ready to finish out stage number 1.
They're ready to finish out. That is the benefit of being first place there for the restarts. That restart was in control of Zach, so he's able to get that launch. Larry right on the gas pedal, also following right to the front as they take position 1 and 2. And top 6 looks like they're just kind of in line, ready to ride it out. But it is 2 wide and 3 wide the rest of the field all the way back. Everyone trying to get every position they can and as far up as they can for these last 12 laps of racing.
Shane Darian in the 9 machine really shipping it, trying to get by Ross Tatum in the 21. That mellow yellow machine on the outside, trying to hold steady.
The outside is faster.
The Ollie machine that gave a huge bump to Cody Reed last week in the 24, just ahead of this group.
The more dangerous.
Spot where to go and speed about where to go. Let's try to go 3 wide as that's a passing he made back.
As I hit the apron. Dang it.
20th position.
Dang it.
Every opportunity possible to go high, low, everywhere.
I knew that was risky.
As the field continues to find a way to slot themselves in line. And speaking of slotted in line, Danny Cochran forcing his way into that outside groove.
And that was definitely a...
And he didn't want to give it to me either.
Corey gets a little bit into the back there. They're able to keep it straight. Danny Cochran really aggressive there, but that's what we got to have. You want to get up there and get stage points. That is what he's trying to show. He's ready to get up there and make moves. He wants to get to the front as quickly as he can.
That was while we were riding on board with 44 of John Ross, but right in front of a little bit of a wiggle and struggle happening for the 27, I believe. That's going to be seen. Actually, the 47, yes, it was. Jared Talmadge gets squirrely in the middle of turns 3. The rest of the field had to check up. They're almost going to think about 4 wide for some drivers further on back. They think better of it. But this field, they're utilizing every little piece of this track through the corners. Off the exits, the 44 of John Ross trying to hold back the 9 of Shane Tarian, as well as seeing the likes of the 88 of Drew Jua, as well as Cameron Thompson, all trying to find ways to go forward as quickly as possible. But it's Drew Jua who started all the way in the back against heading into the line penalty for the 88 machine. He's got by Shane Tarian, and now up to 15th place. A great charge for the 88.
That is a phenomenal charge by the 88, and yeah, they are doing everything they can, using every inch of this track to try to get up to the front.
Turn 3 sucks on the bottom.
They're using every bit of tire they can as well. We've seen a lot of people get a little loose, trying to get as much speed as they can as they ride along here with Brian McCann. And there's still a lot of 2-wide racing here, but that outside line seems to be prevailing for the most part because they're all lined up with that big, chain of draft. So, having pretty smooth racing here, though. The aggression seems to taper off just a little bit. Just regular passes here as we got some passing. And a big wreck in the back.
Oh, no. That's going to be Ben Kinney, who's going to be spotting himself spun around, as well with Tyler Dangler. They're going to be slow for themselves to take that back. Actually, that's going to be Brandon Colley who's going to be involved with that incident. There's no oncoming traffic as they were sideways, so no yellow flag will be thrown, as that was all the way in the back caught up with that wreck. It was also going to be Bill Holm, who was also involved with that incident. 3 drivers caught up in the wreck, but we stay green. And that has got to be a frustrating moment for the return of the 78, who made an exit a few seasons back just because he was caught up in random incidents, and very much a victim, caught up in a lot of wrecks, and once again, caught up in another one. As we stay green up front, it's now Larry Yingling leading the race for himself as he's got by Zach Hall, and our front runners starting to get a little bit more antsy, means 2x2.
And Larry Yingling able to take the lead from Zach Hall, and he stayed low there also to try to pull Joshua Kanata along. It's not a bad move right there, trying to bring it 2 wide to next to Zach Hall to kind of try and bring them both back, but unable to get enough draft to Joshua Kanata. Zach Hall still in the chase right up to the bumper, trying to chase to get that lead back before the stage end.
Also have a report after our first major wreck with Brian Noel, Vincent Sora, and Cedric Hunter. 2 have called it a night of Vincent Sora and Cedric Hunter. For Vincent Sora, our 2-time champ, looks like he'll be finishing outside of the top 38 for the 2nd race in a row this championship.
Damn, did they break early?
For the 51 machine, if he wants to go become a 3-time champ this season, as his night is over. Also still in pit road is Brian Noel and Jared Hughes. It's Collie and Ben Gideon both just entered pit road.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate end to the race for Cedric Hunter and Vincent Sora. You don't like seeing it, especially when it's a prior champion like that of Vincent Sora. Rough start to the season for both of them. It's going to be a long, long mountain to climb for points for those guys. But
I'm not sure. I'm just trying to survive, Derek.
Hope they can enjoy at least a little bit of calm for the rest of their night. They don't have to worry about the field, driving to the field As Zach Hall looks to be putting a little bit of pressure here on Larry Yingling for the lead, getting closer ever so slightly every single lap.
And taking every advantage possible at this moment is going to be our top drivers. Is Douglas Newbigging, another big factor watch out for that Lucky Ducks Motorsports team. One of the faster drivers. I think when you see Douglas qualify well, he's usually always stays up front. Big thing last season was a lot of self-sabotaging moments that hurt him from great, fabulous finishes. Could have been a championship contender. Was Douglas Newbigging. He's hoping that he's cleaned up those issues into this season 10 as looking at some other drivers out on track. You see the 24 of Ollie Fonseca, the big push that allowed Cody Reed to take the victory last week. But for a solid finish here tonight, finished fifth last week, wants to finish inside the top 10, potentially top 5 for a second time. Behind him, though, is the challenge for who's going to get that last bonus point. We have 5 laps to go before the stage is over. It's Ross Tatum as well as Connor Berry, and now you can call in Jared Talmadge, Talmadge. I'm surprised by this.
I made a pass.
Big slide for the 27 in the beginning of this last run. And the 27 is fought back to now be right on the tail end of this battle for 10.
Battle for 10 for that one last point is definitely heating up as they're all trying to get every inch of this track possible to get around.
You follow me through that?
Looks like Ross Tatum's doing a good job kind of keeping him around. Connor Berry could just be biding his time, waiting for that moment, but a huge drive into the turn by Jared Talmadge there. It has to fall off. This goes better run for the guys who stay down a little bit more in that turn. But there's a good 5 or 6 cars there that could potentially challenge for that 10th and final stage point spot.
Absolutely could. And some drivers going with the strategy call of I'm not going to be in position to take stage bonus points. I can take track position after the fact. It's going to be Timothy Harper entering pit road. And when you go into pit road, it's very hard to go lap down if you have a clean stop. So the 18 taking the gamble, pit tires, and get back up there on track and hopes to get track position once the stage is over. As
there's only one spot to pass out on the track too.
Barry, can he hold back the
turn 1
field as well for Ollie Fonseca because they've got some hungry wolves behind them. Now it's Drew Jua, Jared Talmadge. Both have been climbing their way forward, and both now here.
That's interesting.
Final top 10 spots.
Bit before it closes.
Ross Tatum is able to get around Ollie Fonseca, but Ollie still fighting back, taking the lead back, or taking 10th place back away from him. So a fantastic fight for this 10th and final point spot here. As they're 2 wide, still fighting for this position, still with 4 laps to go in this, or 3 laps to go in the stage.
2 laps to go. Jared Thompson got a huge push for Drew Jewell, but I think for Drew, he's finally found the opening where he wants to be in this 88 machine on the outside. It's got by Talmadge, it's got by Tatum, and by Campbell. It's now just getting by the final 2 drivers ahead and maybe take 2 bonus points. If he can get by Fonseca, who drifted through that second corner here at Pocono.
Yeah, Ollie Fonseca is giving everything he had to keep his position, but Drew Jua's looking low, not able to get his nose there. Going to fall in right behind, still getting swirly coming out of turn 3 down the front stretch. He's going to stay in line. Let's see if Drew Jua has enough momentum. Looks like Ollie's pulling just a little bit away. Let's see if he can make a move here. Looks like he's looking low. No, he's going to fall right back in line. He's going to go high here, probably try to get the run going down out of turn 1. But if anybody could do it, I think Drew Jua could pass Ollie here for this 10th and final spot. Looks like he's making a move now. Looks low onto Ollie as they get ready to hit in turn 2. Let's see if he can clear him out of the turn 2 here. Side by side, getting ready to dive in, and he does. Clears Ollie going into turn 2. Drew Jua, P10.
Drew Jua sent to the end of the line to start this race off. It was a big surprise. He qualified in 21st position. He's been marching his way forward, one of our bigger movers of the night. Connor Berry also has been moving forward quite well, but now it's coming up to the white flag of this stage. It's Zach Hall trying to snake around, but because of that little bit of a move to the inside, he gave an opening for Larry Yingling. He'll dive down low for a chance to go for the pass to the inside. Finds his way to be a nose ahead. Hall's got the better positioning now, but with that side drafting and pinching to one another, watch out for the 7 of Douglas Newbigging. He's going to have the cleaner launch of the 2 drivers, but he stays high and follows Hall instead.
Decides to follow Zach Hall on the outside, giving him a push out front. Now you've got Zach Hall and Douglas Newbigging 1-2. Larry Yingling not giving up, staying side by side. He's going to try to side draft. No, gives a little bit of space. Newbig and getting the draft from Zach. He might be able to clear him going into turn 3 here. Zach, a great lead, though, as they're coming to the final lap here. They're about to finish the stage. I don't think anybody's going to get Zach. Drew, or not Drew, Douglas Newbigging is able to clear Larry Yingling and Zach Hall, taking the first or the stage win here
at the 3 there, Kelly.
Great stage win for the one machine for Zach Hall, able to fight even with being passed by a nose by Yingling into turn number 1. Fought back with Douglas Newbigging. I thought maybe for a second he tried to force it 3 wide, but willing to just take the second place points for the stage. Those are still massive points to take for this 7 machine. He will be second, as here's your points and how they will run down. It's going to be Zach Hall maximizing with 10 bonus points with Douglas Newbigging, Larry Yingling, Gavin Rogers, Ryan Kelly, Chad Wilkes, as well as Joshua Kanata, Nick Crawford, Connor Berry, and Drew Jua with the march through the field. We'll take that one final bonus point here this evening. As the drivers are chasing to run down the pace car,
Makes matters worse is I thought tonight was Phoenix. I didn't practice, but I just thought it was Phoenix.
We'll take a quick
I don't know why that matters, but
we'll try to talk to Zach Hall as well as
I guess it doesn't.
Where drivers will line up after the stage, has a lot of different strategy calls. Some pitted before the stage breaks closed, pit road closed at the end of the stage. Others will have to pit now. We'll have to find out here shortly as you are watching the WSSR Cup Series. We'll be back right after this for more Pocono.
I need more brake buys, or more rear brake buys, and I'm already maxed out.
Pit road is now open.
I was maintaining speed with the leaders, though. So I'm not really off pace. I'm just too far back in the pack.
Pit box in 10, 5, 3, 2, 1. Right here.
Yeah.
That's it. Go.
Ooh, I saw 57. It's hard to do this in first gear.
No.
Line up single file.
Hey, I didn't miss my box this time, so that's an improvement.
My tire wire was pretty much perfect. So I guess that's why I was maintaining lap times with the leader. I just gotta not mess up and hit the apron and what else happened?
Well,
Get screwed on the track position. Like,
and all you missed were some pits.
I hate being on the outside, but you got to be on the outside. You got to move forward. You got to take that risk. It sucks.
Timothy Harper, Levi Cox, and Cameron Thompson going to be those 4 drivers that stay up front. The race off of pit road actually goes to Douglas Newbigging in the 7 machine. Call your stage winner.
Looking back on that, that wasn't a smart position, but
let's actually see if we can queue up that 1 machine and see how he is feeling after a fantastic stage win and taking that pole as well. Let's see how the 1 is feeling for himself. Zach, It's Sam and Richard up in the booth.
So this is going to be interesting.
All right, man, we're
The
going green
four
next time, bye.
Well, Zach,
leaders right
Line up
now
on the inside row.
are the ones that
up front,
dove in the pit
Yingling as well as Kanata. You come away with stage win. How
on
do you
older
feel
tires.
after those first 20 laps?
Very surprised.
So they're going to hold all those leaders up.
And when we switched it to the new version, I was kind
So we might see the big one right here.
me, but seems
Because they're going to get shuffled back through the pack
surprising.
pretty fast. Because they were like right there where I was at.
Past
It's gonna be
the
tough.
11.
I think
Past
strategy's
the-
gonna be key in track position, of course.
Yeah, a lot of speed coming out of you today, Zach. And, you know, coming near to the end of that stage, were you a little worried that Douglas might have the momentum to be able to get around you or not?
You know, I was looking there going into the tunnel turn because I noticed he cleared Larry, and I was like, man, I got to make sure I don't let him try something here. So I kind of made a little bit of a defensive move, kind of like shadowed off to the left a little bit, kind of making him have to choose high or low. So it seems like it worked, but 10 points, we'll take them, and 2 playoff points already. I'm ecstatic, especially after last week.
Yeah, especially after
Ooh, I got
this week.
I got one of the position number 4 in my team chat, so I get to listen to see what happens.
Continue to stay up front for the rest of the evening.
It's going to be key.
He's telling everybody to wave while they go by.
At the wrong time, you're going to see a lot of these guys.
There's going to be a wreck.
Got to be smart and pick and choose those.
For sure.
Well, good luck, Zach. We're going to send you back to your team, and good luck for the rest of the race.
Thanks, guys.
As that will be the one machine in the TrophySmack.com car. That will be Zach Hall, who's currently going to restart in 6th position on the outside with
I'm going to try to err on survival instead of aggressiveness right now,
field. Shane
like I've been doing.
Harper, as well as Cameron Thompson, Levi Cox, going to be on around 5-lap older tires, only about 3 laps of them being under green flag conditions. How big is fresh tires compared to slightly older ones? Well, let's find out. You see that green flag in the air. It's about to be green flag racing. Stage racing is over. It's all about the win. As they enter the restart zone, we are green for Shane Terrian and Harper as they roar down into turn number 1. Richard, it looks clear as the outside lane got the big launch.
Yeah, Shane Terrian did a fantastic launch as the leader, but outside lane running strong, was able to get a little bit of a run there. Not able to clear the 99 of Levi Cox, though, so he, first and second, going to sit there up front in line, but we got double wide final racing all the way back. But we got a long 70 laps of racing now, so this is where everyone's going to find their momentum, find their groove, kind of chill back and figure out how fast they want to come up, or they want to kind of take a conservative route, save some tires for late run moves.
Moves or make them now.
Oh, I should have took it. For some reason I heard the spotter say clear it, but I looked up and I thought he was there.
Take off. Get to turn 3. A couple of drivers scrape from the wall.
Mistake number 1.
Something we see throughout the night is how hard do you scrape the wall, or do you smash it? As drivers further on back getting into one another. It's a big wreck. I believe that's going to be Tyler Dangler involved in the 19. Multiple drivers were just getting slow and out of control. Ryan Ferraro also going to be one of those drivers, as Christopher Norris. Aggressive side drafting with the 10, and it goes wrong for both of them. We stay green, but the biggest of damage going to be given to Tyler Dangler for himself, as he's going to require damage and set to pit road.
Oh, and it looks like he is struggling to try to get that car even back to pit road. It looks like she's going to stop and take the tow. Some heavy hits for a lot of those guys. Brendan Colley looks like he got involved a little bit. He's fallen way back, also kind of out of the main.
There's going to be a big accordion up top.
Caution still another shocking thing to see. So that's a big upset for a lot of these guys that were either involved or had to slow down because of the incidents they in front of them.
It might be your questioning on the reason why. The reason why
It did downshift. Oh!
45-degree angle.
I could have got the yellow car.
Slowing down. The 3 main factors you have to be looking at in the iRacing coding, and not all 3 were shown at the right time to bring out a yellow flag. So we continue to stay green. That's going to be hurting over 3-4 drivers for this run. We are, like I said, still green flag racing. It's Shane Terrian leading the charge, but for how long is going to be the true question? Because the one driver that's been on the move up front has
come up and hit me.
You can see here, they're still willing to go 3 wide, almost 4 wide. As backing out was GT Rizari. This is in the middle of the pack. Drivers are getting very antsy between one another, and I thought we were going to see 4 wide for a quick moment. This is back outside of the top 20. This is battling for just inside of the top 30, actually.
They're still getting into each other's doors and fenders as well. This is really aggressive racing for this far back in the field.
Dang it.
But that just
Should have stayed high.
don't want to sit back here. They want to try to get up as high as they can, because when green flag pit stops,
I thought maybe I had enough run.
midfield or further, just so you can, come out about that point also. But fantastic racing by all of them, still getting into the doors, almost making it full wide, still keeping it straight, and still hard, aggressive, good, clean racing.
And now as that was all going down, the battle for the lead still raging as Douglas Newbig and Shane Darian stay side by side for the lead position.
That's Ryan Kelly in front of me.
In third place.
How'd he get back to 17?
Fourth, so Old Tires still able to hold up front quite well currently, but it's Douglas Newbig who's done the best job advancing forward as Zach Hall still stuck in fifth place, but could be one of those moments where if you're Hall, you're in traffic, you might try to find a way to save your tires, but these drivers are all getting stacked up on top of one another, looking very similar to that first wreck where drivers were just so on top of one another. Just one difference on the braking zone could throw this whole entire cluster of drivers into a very big mess.
Yeah, we saw that earlier with the different braking area for some of the drivers for the first caution of the race. So you got to be very careful. Sometimes being too close to a driver can spell disaster, but everyone doing a great job kind of keeping their noses clean. A lot of close calls there as he tried to get into position.
Guy in front of me is talking about if they're burning their stuff or not. He's on a tire saving strategy.
Well, because you get stuck on that inside. A lot of cars just hit the wall as well coming out of turn 3.
It was Drew Jua who was trying to follow the 16 of Kanata, just followed up into the outside wall. Hard contact, at least it was a pancake hit to require damage, but too many contacts like that, you will be getting it.
I think I'm just going to ride here.
Just turbo damage that it's going to mess up your steering if you're not careful.
Yeah, that's one of the newest updates to iRacing also is the damage over time, basically. So you hit that wall enough, it's eventually going to break a toe link versus just how hard you hit the wall. So you got to be careful and kind of utilize that. It could be utilized to your advantage, but don't utilize it too much. As Levi Cox got a little bit of a moment there, gets passed on both sides. Looks like he's starting to fall back. Those older tires just not doing him any favors.
Yeah, it was a question of how long could these tires hold on and hold on to the rest of the field.
Yeah, that was only stage 2.
Multiple drivers piling in as the 41.
Yeah, I'm good. I made it.
Multiple others. It looked like also Scioli.
How about you?
Are still piling in late.
I got loose a little bit right
as it was the 41 machine that gets shipped around, as that's Cameron Thompson off the exit at turn number 3, excuse me. It just got the sorts quickly, and it looks like it was Zach Hall and Thompson who get into one another to start it off.
Thank you, Derek.
Yeah, just a little loose there, and then just cars coming in at high speeds. I don't think Nick, he didn't really do anything wrong. Just three wide, nobody really giving any space. Just unfortunate timing for the spin or the rear end to come back around, involving another 2 or 3 drivers. Just unfortunate to see. It could have been a lot worse, but looks like 3 or 4 drivers kind of involved in this one.
So we'll take another look.
I'm going to just call it the front stretch is actually the hypotenuse.
That were additional to this incident. We ran on board with Scioli in the 77. He watches this incident blossom in front of him. He's trying to run your bowling lanes.
Ron, were you saving tires?
And then the first back
carnage in front.
10-4.
Smoke nowhere to go, and it's just so unfortunate that seeing in the 41's rear end clock back in. It's got a little heavy front end in 77, but it was going to be Levi Cox who instead slammed in the front end by the 41 there late. I mean, the 44, excuse me, there late, which was a big surprise to see John Ross just nowhere to go for himself. But that's adding more drivers with required damage. Cameron Thompson, Levi Cox.
All my teammates were saying they wasn't pitting, so.
With the Jared Hughes, Brian Noel, Vincent Sora, and Cedric Hunter.
Get this man out of here.
Acquire damage and sit in pit.
They're in front of me, so I'm going to listen.
Why are you still here?
Yeah, that definitely could. I mean, there's a lot of things that could have been done different there. Unfortunately for Scioli, I think, honestly, if you... I
didn't quite see that wreck when it started happening. I saw some smoke, but sometimes you'll see smoke like that just out of that turn naturally because people are slipping the rear ends, but they'll catch it.
99 just kind of got hit by the...
And I saw the smoke, but I didn't think it was enough to be a wreck, and my teammates called it out in Discord.
Unfortunate to see for a lot of these drivers, more drivers parking it for...
Yeah, track possession is huge.
Damage. Hopefully they can get some repaired and come out and try and recover some of these positions.
That is correct.
Currently, drivers that have officially called it a night,
Okay, but
being
what about
Cedric
a
Hunter,
parabola?
Vincent Sora, and Ben Keeney so far in the 98.
I'm doing
Shane,
that in a couple weeks. I'll
as
tell
the
you in
rest
2
of the
weeks.
field, trying to figure out, okay, what do we do
How
at
about
this
the,
moment?
I think it's
quadratic
me, Ryan, and Larry.
Total.
Larry got shuffled back to 13th.
I don't
So-
wanna ever think about
so
the
both of them are
quadratic
saving
overlap
tires.
again.
Just
Thank
came
you,
into pit
Nick.
road and got service done.
What do you know
When
about
would you think about
log?
making another pit stop? Because these drivers were given a total
doing
of
that this
5
week. I hate
sets
it.
for the whole entire
I have
race.
a
They
test
started
book,
off
Tony.
with
You wanna
1.
teach me it?
They had 4 sitting in pit road for this evening. And most of
know
these
these formulas
drivers have
and
already
all
used
that, but
1
you know how to
sets.
put
They
your
got
spare
3
wheel
for the
on
rest of
or
this
what?
race. I'm curious on the fact that we didn't see a big difference on tires, if anyone would risk coming into pit road
Nar.
at this time, or do you wait
Always
until
there in favor.
later on
What
in
do you
this
know about
race to
tires,
try to
dog?
get closer to that 1-stop window that some of these drivers are looking for?
Yeah, that's the big question.
said
It
they're
really
circular.
seemed like tire fall off wasn't too terribly
There you
bad.
go.
So the people who
Under the
pitted
car.
came out
They're running
in 24 back.
all.
I may not
So,
be able to change a tire,
I mean,
but
right
I know
now,
how
I
to change my
think
blinker
your
fluid.
best bet is probably just go ahead and still shoot for that 1-stop
Did you ever
chance.
chance
Just wait for the fuel window to open up, then go get fuel and tires then, because the
Your
fall off
710
doesn't seem to
cap
be
while
too
you're
terrible bad right now.
As these drivers
Yeah, I gotta remember,
are
I'm a lot
getting
older than
the
most y'all
lights
out
to
there.
turn off, so
I'm in
that is
the
our indication. This is
automotive
1 to go. We're
industry. I see a
going
lot more
this
kids coming
time
in y'all
by.
days can't even put on
Again,
their
a
own
report
wiper
on
blades.
drivers that just came into pit road. Going to be Thompson, Check,
I
Ollie
bet they can't even
Fonseca,
change
GT
their own
Rosari
piston
coming into pit
rings
road. They
either.
are going to
The
take
bounce back ones.
in fuel for themselves. Got some prepare. Christopher Wade in 27th position. As
That
well
Oh.
repairs for the drivers that were involved in that last wreck of John Ross in 28.
sorry, I
Levi
watched that
Cox,
episode of
Ryan
Chris Fix, and I
Ferraro
couldn't
kind of
remember the
in the
name. I know
restart
Chris
incident
Fix
that
is
didn't
actually
actually
Brian
ran a
Johnson's
yellow on
favorite
this last
YouTuber.
run. John Forbes also getting repairs.
That explains a lot.
Well,
He's back on the lead
not
lap
really.
for the 11 machine.
But I had to
James
replace the
Scaoli's going to be
clutch
back
in
out
a
on track.
Mazda
Same
today
for
from,
Bill
the teenage
Holes,
girl driving
Brandon
it
Colley.
2,000 miles.
It's everyone
Burnt the shit out
from
of it.
35th on back, still in pit road for
Has anyone
Thompson,
changed their
Dangler,
wiper
as
brake?
well as Noel and Hughes.
Yeah,
for
I
those
just put some
damages to get
WD-40 on my
done
brakes
before
earlier.
they can get back out on track. Drivers up front, though, Douglas Newbegin,
Have
if
you
you
guys
look
polished
at
your rotors
those that are
lately?
inside of our top 20,
Oh yeah, 79 degrees.
Precious
I didn't even see
that.
going to be
That way
the
my
control
Mustang's
vehicle for
more
this
shiny,
restart. I mean, Richard, this is a prime position
Hey,
for the
Zach said
7 to
be
try to stay
quiet
up
because he
front
can't
until they
focus.
have to make this next pit stop.
All right, I got to make sure I don't wreck the 67 or the 3.
His control.
Those are teammates.
He should be able to get a
It
good
was
launch,
completely
good
different
jump to the front, and be able to control the race from that point. But we'll see.
Zach,
I mean,
no more
Zach
fun,
Hall
guys.
has
Sorry.
had speed this entire race. If he can get around Shane and
Get
Timothy,
ready.
I think he can make a good run to get back up in the lead from Douglas Newbegin again. But we'll also see a really good difference on what the tires will make, as we have quite a few drivers in the back of the pack, which is probably not a bad idea
All right,
that they
man.
came in and took
8
tires,
cars
because they've got nothing to lose being back that far.
Green
Might as well
flag,
take some
green
fresh
flag.
tires and try to make your way through the field again.
Gonna try their best as pace car makes a hard left-hander pit road. It's time to get back to green
Stay
flag
low.
racing, and Douglas Newbegin not waiting for anybody.
Stay
He's
low.
already got a
Oh,
car
my
length
God.
over the rest of the field. As Timothy Harper, Shane Terry, they'll stay side by side for that
Stay low.
second place position. Everyone else snaking and diving for any chance to move forward. And it's the 88 of Douglas of going to be a Drew Jua trying to close in the gap to his teammate of Douglas Newbegin ahead.
Douglas Newbegin able to get a great launch, going to be able to keep that lead from Shane Terry and Timothy Harper.
Stay
So
low.
great
Damn, he's stuck.
lead.
Still there? Hold your
We
line.
were slow because of the accordion.
Terry and Harper still squeezing against one another. All a big wiggle off the tunnel turn. As getting almost, I think, a push from the 88 of Drew Jua. Jua has been showing the fact that he's willing to make these big moves. If he has a run, willing to utilize it to its fullest potential. A little bit of a slide up from Harper and an opening for Zach Hall. He'll move up to third place as the 18, trying every way to slow down the rest of the pack, as he did not get a perfect run off the exit of turn 3. And it's the 18 being swarmed from
Teammates are calling out that they're going to try to go to the front now.
the top 5.
Still there? Hold your line.
Unfortunate
All
for
clear,
him,
all
he just
clear.
gets
Oh, boy.
shuffled all the way back. In the middle of their 3-wide racing, but that could be the drop-off of tires. We'll see how long Shane can last as well, as he is trying to snake and follow Douglas Newbegin to try to keep that draft. Newbegin doing a great job snaking across the track, trying to break that draft
Everything's right.
so they don't get a run on him, but Shane doing a good job following him around also. The rest of the pack, though, still staying in line, trying to get that run, keep that train moving, and try to catch those two in front.
Drew Jua trying to find an opening. Any mistake by the one machine. It seems like out of the tunnel turn is where Zach is trying to maximize the most speed, but it has been really looking like a lot of tension on the rear tires of the one. Other drivers through the front stretch. You see that snaking action. Everyone trying to stay in line with the draft to keep momentum, get a little bit of extra speed before hard braking in turn number one. It's the rest of the field still 2 by 2. Even though the back Jua still not able to get by Zach Paul for that third place position, but you can see the front 5 all willing to snake. It's around 8th on back where they all just say, you know what, we'll just stay in line. We don't need to be snaking back and forth.
Yeah, the Pocono snake is finally showing its face here early in the race. It's just a good way for these drivers to try to break that draft so they can stop the run that everyone's trying to get. So we went around with 10th and 11th. Gavin trying to break back up in the top 10 here. Is now it's just Douglas Newbig and Shane Tarian doing the snaking. And back and forth he goes. That's your typical view right there in Pocono, seeing the snake. Only 2 cars doing it.
Nobody wants to take that bottom side.
Yeah, I got a feeling it's just because of the conspiracy that's really that 3rd or 4th place position from our top 2. Might get seen a little bit more snaking. There's a little bit more action of drivers, not as dramatic as Drew Jua trying to break slightly over the likes of Zach Paul, but we're looking here on screen, seeing the likes of Larry Yingling trying to find his way to stay up front. Yingling, 14th place. He's actually got behind him. That's Chris Stitz involved in that first wreck. Heavy front-end damage that he was dealing with. It still has some decent pace. I'm majorly surprised on how well they're running right now. And 17 trying his best to stay attached to the driver that won this race 2 seasons ago. Terry Travis. I mean, at this point, it just doesn't look like there's enough pace at this time for the 67. You're kind of stuck in limbo of you push now at risk of hurting up your tires, or you just settle in line, but might lose that front pack that's pulling away.
Yeah, I think at this point, it's just kind of save your tires, let them burn the tires up in front. It's not going to make passes very quick. So I think that's what Larry might be doing here, just kind of saving his tires, maybe an end of the fuel run, end of the fuel window run. Try to get maybe 4 or 5 more positions before these green flag pit stops happen. So, but Stitz here is right along with him. Like you said, the front end damage. This is about all he can do. He's not going to be able to really make any moves by himself. It's just going to be punching a bigger hole with that damage he's got. So as long as he can stay in the draft, he's going to be able to keep up with whoever's in front of him and at least kind of salvage some kind of decent finish for the rest of this race.
17 slowly closing in through the corner. A little racing action for second place, Shane Tarian, as well as Drew Jua, back and forth on who's going to be in that second place position. Tarian finally doesn't have the draft help to keep that second place spot at the hit the tunnel.
Killing my right front into 1.
Paul, they'll take the advantage to make the pass and move up to 3rd place. Tarian will slot into 4th, but it's Drew Jua just pulling along the rest of this pack to catch up to Drua's teammate of Douglas Newbigging. And talked about Douglas Newbigging's woes of last season. It just felt like he could never catch a break, as it was always self-sabotage. A spin here, a spin there when he was inside of the top 5, top 10. Here tonight, showing a much stronger and more consistent drive than what we saw all of last season by the 7 machine.
You're clear high.
So that's how you pass.
It wasn't really a lot of self-sabotage either for him. So last season was kind of a rough season for him. Hoping that's a big turnaround this season. He just seemed to be a little bit more consistent.
I mean,
not really improving his own races. Even had some abilities he had to serve as well. So that's always a hurt to have.
I noticed he was saving the right front.
1 and 2. They're going to be working together.
And then he used it in turn 1 to make the pass.
Exactly. I mean, Drew Jua has had one heck of a climb up through the field on the same pit strategy as Zach Paul and Newbigging up here.
I'm not doing a good job saving my right front.
19 positions from where he started in 21st.
Yeah, it's been crazy to watch the drivers that have been able to find their way moving forward. Maybe it's because of strategy calls, but finding yourself up front is a big positive to find, as Nick Crawford, one of those that's made a small divot into moving forward from where he qualified, started 10th here this evening as the Snowy Desert Racing driver currently is trying to find a way to get by the 16 of Joshua Kanata, as well as having Connor Berry in the 0-2 behind him. And I think Connor Berry, another one of those drivers you got to give kudos to, as he's done a great job trying to work his way forward. It was kind of a part of that Jared Talmadge and Bujua campaign that was moving through the field in our first stage. But as we still have ourselves 50 laps to go, about to be the start of
The new tires never advanced any. They're still back there.
Still picking up front. And one driver we haven't really talked about, but was one of the fastest in our first stage. It's Chad Wilkes here in the 6 machine. Lucky Charms did not have a lucky run last week at Atlanta, but currently finds himself in 12th place, but has top 5, top 10 speed. This 6 might be someone to watch out for as the run continues.
Yeah, he's doing a fantastic job tonight after an unfortunate wreck last week at Atlanta. You know, just kind of taking it easy back here in 12th. You know, he's got some great pace, and we've been watching all race. You know, he's up only 3 positions from where he started. That's nothing to look shy upon still. Still making great progress, sitting in front of Ryan Kelly, one of the favorites to win this race today.
And Ryan Kelly, another one of those drivers, finished 26th last week, helping for
Fastest lap of the session, what?
team top 10 run and possible for the 3 machine. That's Larry Yingling, who started 4th, as well as Brian B. Johnson, another one of those drivers who had to start at the end of the line for a penalty for the 20 loop, just cracking into our top 15. So seeing the movements of drivers that found some decent speed, finally able to surge forward with an attempt to fight, as watching the battling on screen for the drivers around 8, 9, and 10. That's Jared Talmadge, Ken Campbell as well as could be Gavin Rogers. They are trying to find a way to move forward, and drivers are moving backwards. Timothy Harper, old tires, he really fell off from that second place position back to 6th. But yeah, I got to give kudos to the fact that this 18 machine is still just outside of the top 10 and 11th place. The drop off, I thought was going to be
Yeah, I'm focusing on trying to see
where he was.
what the car wants.
Yeah, I mean, Tucker Falls, like 3 laps of green flag run on those old tires. He's done a fantastic job trying to maintain them and doing a really good job up here in 11th after starting so far back. He started 36th position to be up here 25 up from where he started here in 11th. He's doing a fantastic job. Made a really smart decision to pit early and didn't go a lap down for doing it either, because he knew he didn't have a chance for getting stage points, and just doing everything he can to hang up with these front runners and start these green flag pit stops not too far from now.
As we were getting the fuel run around 39 to 42 laps, we're going to have to try to recalculate what those numbers are going to be. I believe that's around lap 48 to around, it's going to be around 50 to around 48. I think that's going to be the window we're looking for these drivers to make that pit stop. So we're closing in, like I said, quickly here. I'm curious on the field, though, because a lot of them topped off around that stage. Some came into pit road during our last caution 13 laps ago. They could push it out pretty far. And with the lack of drop-off on these tires, I'm curious if anyone's thinking about the overcut of staying out as long as possible, or are they waiting on a caution that almost felt like was going to blossom there? As tough racing for 21st position, it's going to be the 44 on the outside, as well on the inside of Tom Sinchek in the 26 black, white, and red machine. And also the drivers that assisted one another to help win last week. Cody Reed, that's actually Ross Tatum in that yellow machine. But Cody Reed getting very close as these drivers 20th on that, give it a shove here late in this run.
Yeah, it's really good to see racing all the way back in the field this far back, still trying to get every position they possibly can. I mean, they're not just sitting in the line, so giving us a show this far back, it's great to watch. We're not seeing the leaders run up front and try to make passes. So it looks like they're about to go 3 wide as well. No, not quite, not able to get the run. They're still going to stay 2 by 2.
Driver trying to force 3 wide. That's John Forbes, and this is no surprise. If you watch on Monday nights for the ISRC Truck Series, John Forbes in the trucks is one of the he looks like almost like a wizard at times with how aggressively he'll throw it to the inside, but yet it will stick. Feels like every time that he attempts an aggressive move here in the next gen cars try, as the last few seasons has been trying to find a little bit more consistency, more confidence in this next gen cup car. And I think he's found that little bit of confidence. Again, caught in a unfortunate circumstance, pitted early at the end of stage 1, but he was going to take an advantage of, just like we saw from Shane Terry and Timothy Harper, of track position, was caught 1 lap down, was not able to take the wave around or even get the lucky dog, had to wait for a caution, and finally has been on the advancement going forward, and other drivers as well, trying to find any placements to move forward as well as they can. Here's a battle for 16th as Chad Wilkes in that Lucky Charms being challenged by Danny Cochran in the 2. A little bit of rubbing as they head down the corner, as the corner that they're going through, and surprised to see some contact, but at the same time, Richard, I mean, with how aggressive some drivers are being with side drafting, the contact is bound to happen at some point.
I mean, yeah, contact's going to happen here. Side drafting is really aggressive. And just also the downside about side drafting is when you start doing it, it does kind of tend to pull the car into you. But also, like that fender-to-fender contact we've seen, that's just the nature of them trying to use every inch they can to get the right angle into those turns and try to get the speed to get right.
Did what Brian did.
That's just a product of stock car racing. That's what's going to happen.
All clear.
Nobody spun. It's all fair play and game here in the WSSR Cup Series.
Here at Pocono, we are officially into the second half of this race, and we are now in the zone where drivers can try to take it from here. Early pit stops could be a question of, do you feel like you can pit now, or do you pit later? And as well, if you come into pit road, the tough decision is, are you going to have anyone join you to have some friends entering pit road? That's going to be the big thing I'm curious about for some of these drivers that maybe are looking to stretch the field out as long as possible, is do they have a friend or an ally they can draft with that can keep pace with some of our front runners? Because that's something we really haven't touched on, is if you pit by yourself,
Right front ain't happy at me.
major disadvantage compared to those that pit.
Can't do that again 2 laps in a row.
That's where this track kind of is similar to super speed.
Gotta cool it off a little bit.
It isn't like super speedway racing where you're going to see, I mean, kind of like the train right here, but like it is like you still need the draft. It's still kind of a necessity to go fast, and if you do,
I'm going faster than the leaders are.
out to dry, and you're going to be running probably a second or 2 seconds slower than the rest of the field. So it's definitely a necessity. You definitely need to make some friends out there, find some teammates, and fit together. But make sure it's close enough to where you can pick each other's draft up, so you can either stay in front of the pack that's coming or catch back up to the people in front of you.
Find teammates, find allies.
By a lot. 3/10, 4/10, damn.
Here this evening, that's Christopher Norris on 38. He's been caught up in multiple different incidences. He was caught up in that Ryan Ferraro wreck that caught a couple of drivers off guard. Didn't bring out a yellow, but Norris has had to come into pit road a little bit earlier than some. Currently 4 laps down. He was one of the first to come into pit road, so trying to take an advantage, and honestly needs a couple of cautions to get back on the lead lap if he wants a chance to advance in positionings. For himself, as he's racing around the likes of Ryan Ferraro, Brandon Colley. I mean, that just those 4 drivers were around one another that brought out a non-caution incident. There's a couple of other drivers out on course. Here's the 42, Leroy Koblitz, runs in 27th by himself, and you want an idea of what it's like to not have draft help compared to those that do. Leroy's last lap is 53.9. Our leaders are 53.5. That is a little bit of a draft assistance. It's a couple of tenths here and there, but they're so massive in the big run.
That was weird. I don't know. It didn't say I hit him, but it looked like I hit him.
Long time to lose, because in 10 laps of not having any draft help,
I was going to do it that turn.
5 seconds and
How
lost.
to back out of it.
So, I mean, that is just a prime example of why you need drafting help with this track. You can't get caught out alone.
Has seen a few drivers.
Still outrunning the leaders, though.
That was going to be seen on screen. That's 77, but the technically is our 75 on our ticker board. That's Gavin Rogers, the Sundance Pizza Machine, trying to find a way to get by Timothy Harper. This is
Pulled back up or something.
Harper. Got to give kudos as the run has progressed. The 18 is
It was effective, whatever it was.
and he's able to power up on Gavin Rogers, who went with an attempt for a pass, got stuck on the inside, and will be losing 2 positions instead of gaining 1.
Yeah, when you got to make a pass here, you got to make sure you make that pass nice, quick
Still outrunning the leaders.
in front of the person you're passing. Because if you don't, you get stuck on the inside. As we just saw, Gavin just
Outrunning everybody in front of me, except for the guy immediately in front of me.
behind Ryan Kelly again. But Harper's still
So they're bunching up front.
back in the top 10
Welcome
now.
back, Ryan.
He is doing great on these older drivers and some of these drivers he's racing around.
Still there.
As
Hold
this
your line.
run continues on, Harper and Kent Campbell now will be side by side. And ahead of them for battle for the lead position, Douglas Newbigin, Zach Paul, Drew Jua. They have been on top of one another. Drew Jua for the past 3 laps has been trying to find an opportunity to get by Douglas Newbigin. It has not worked out. Instead, Zach Hall will go for an attempt for a pass. Not going to find an opening for himself there. Had to go extremely low. Was hoping side draft was going to hurt him, and it does not. Instead, he's just going to fall in line, stay in 3rd place.
Yeah.
It just looks like these drivers are stalling out. There's just not enough big enough of a run. And there's not enough drafting assistance to make these passes for the lead position.
Yeah, I think the tires are just kind of starting
got
to
tired
plateau
by
for these drivers. So just not being able to have the drafting help to get these passes is just it's very difficult to get a pass done. Got to get that run down the front straightaway to dive into a turn, but Zach still looking low. Going to get the side draft there onto Drew Jua. He actually might get the
Damn, what a pit. What a pit. I didn't see that he was calling that out.
Sorry, Shane. I expected you to come
Now
up,
up
and I
next to
reacted
Douglas Newbigin. He's going to make a run for the lead coming down the front stretch here. Looks like Zach Paul will be able to lead that lap, but I don't think he's going to be able to complete the pass.
Big blinking moment there, though, for the 88, Drew Jua. He is having some massive connection issues. Or big blinks all around for a few drivers throughout the service. That was the worry.
They're talking about pitting.
On track of how is the server going to hold up for Drew Jua. Luckily, his connection came back when he gave the big push to Douglas Newbigin to keep the lead position over Zach Paul, because if there wasn't that push, Douglas probably was going to lose that lead position. Instead, showing why it's so nice and kind to have some drafting help up front.
Yeah, I think Drew Jua and all those blinks he was having, that actually still does affect the draft and how you're pushing another car. So Douglas,
Yeah, I think I'm going to pit with them. They're talking about they're not too far in front of me.
which was allowing Zach Hall to still maintain beside him and potentially get the pass, but Drew Jua's connection able to get back stable, getting that push to Douglas Newbigin, keeping him up front as Zach Hall's trying to make another look to the inside to make.
We're all stacking up right here.
This time it looks like
I'm catching a leader last lap by 3/10.
Still side by side. Drew Jua is going to maintain the 2nd place.
And the hard thing that you're trying to do for Zach Hall, side draft that 88, pull him back far enough to where if you go for a slide job move, there's enough space to slot in between those Lucky Duck drivers. It's just not the case. Drew Jua is doing a fabulous job staying directly in line with the 7 and not giving any space for Zach Hall. Zach needs to pass 2 drivers at one time if he wants to complete this pass. It looks like this is his best chance to do so. Almost fully clear from the 7 machine as he exits at turn number 3. Hall to the point, but it's going to be the Lucky Duck.
Talking about 4/10, 2/10 that time. 2/10 and 4/10.
Sliding high, so Hall blocks both
I
decisions.
think they're up there racing.
1 back to the lead spot.
Impressive move by Zach Paul and showing why he was last year's champion, picking off 2 drivers in 1 turn. Teammates at that, and still maintaining down the front stretch to lead the lap, and just throwing the blocks and trying to break that draft away from
I
the
was hoping for a green flag pit. That might have separated the field some.
track.
It's going to be seeing the 11 of John Forbes spun around to bring out the caution and throw out any chance of green flag pit stops. It is over and done, as it's going to be trouble for the 11 of John Forbes.
Can we make it from here?
Bump and assistance from Ollie Fonseca.
I mean, of course.
Only take a shove, giving a good shove last week to Cody Reed. It looked like
6, 7, 8, 9. That's 30. So yeah, I think we can make it from here easily.
replay here. Forbes on the inside does get a little.
It's going to be coming out of the exit.
Of course, that's probably why they were talking about pitting. That's why you were talking about pitting. I'm just now catching up.
It's going to be a long while. That front stretch is up very
I'm a little slow.
as they get ready to dive into turn 1.
As long as we put all the fuel in it.
See what happens. Forbes on the outside, not really in front of Ollie from Stoke yet. It does get a little bit of a bump.
Yep, we got a full tank going in.
That's what kind of sends him a little into a slide and then up into the wall after making contact with the 73.
Yeah, and seeing that slight contact up into the wall, it goes the 11. Hard contact for himself. The 44 of John Ross just nowhere really to go. It's kind of the assistance for Forbes, but sadly for John Forbes, required damage. He will be sent to pit road. And this caution, it now puts us in a spot where it's going to be a race off of pit road to keep that top position. Hall, our pole sitter, wants to keep this top spot, but the last time we had a pit stop situation, it was Douglas Newbegin able to pass Hall as they were exiting out of pit road. Richard, this could be a very important pit stop for Hall, but this is going to be our final pit stop of the night if we stay green from here. But with the way Pocono runs, we might not stay green all the way to the end from this moment.
Yeah, it'd be nice if we stay green the rest of this race, but like you said, last time they raced, it was 8 cautions. That's the record, 8 cautions here. So, I mean, I still feel there might be some more aggression to be had on the track and some, unfortunate moves. So we'll see. But pit stops are happening now. Last time Douglas able to have a phenomenal pit stop to take the lead away from Zach Hall. This is it. This is where you have control of the race, the control of the start, as everyone coming into the pits to get service.
Zach Hall has to make sure he doesn't slide through his box, nor for Douglas Newbegin or Drew Jua. They've had to hit their marks perfectly. For Douglas Newbegin and for Drew, they both hit their marks perfectly. Hall, much cleaner entry than he had the first time. But as the drivers are leaving their box, those left sides are still up. They finally slammed down for Hall, and the race off of pit road, it's going to be close, but it's Zach Hall keeping the top spot, with Drew Jua behind as well as Douglas Newbegin. The one driver ahead of him, though, Timothy Harper, he pitted earlier under green flag conditions. He will keep that top spot. Almost an identical situation he was in at the end of the stage.
I was just noticing that as we were watching pit stops. Timothy Harper getting that lucky timing there, honestly.
Yeah, Timothy leapfrogged the entire field.
Comes out and taking advantage of it as it puts him back up into first place with only 4 lap old tires also. So it's just reminiscent to the end of the stage as well. So a great timing by Timothy up in front. Tires are about as equal as the other drivers behind him. So let's see how long he can maintain staying up here in front. He didn't do a terrible job last time, still up in the top 10. So hopefully he can repeat that to the end of this race.
Yeah, I would only think for Timothy Harper is the fact that he worked out for about 3 to 4 laps, and then he fell
88, 84.
He's going to need a little bit of help here. Maybe a couple of quick cautions, try to let these tires cool down a little bit more. Because 18 is going to be in an interesting position moving forward in this race. Zach Hall also, he's going to be on that.
They're going to be aggressive now.
And he's got to bank on a good restart for himself.
The rest of that race earlier was just a practice run for now.
Or Drew Jua, because it took Hall.
Of course, it still is 30 laps, so we do got to save the tires a little bit, but track position is more important than the tires, I think.
That last caution that just came out.
Because yes, we were catching them, but we wasn't passing them last go around. So
yeah, it's true. And we also have a few drivers that
I'm going to try.
Down that didn't shoot.
I don't think I'll be able to get too far, but I'm going to try to get some track position here.
99 of Levi Cox, he's on 14 lap old tires still. So I don't know if he was hoping for all the
once again, I got my teammates in front of me.
Hoping for, but still did not pit when you see a leader out there still. Timothy Harper. They
had a pretty good strategy last time. Maybe I should just follow one of them through.
Didn't realize what was going on in front of him.
It's going to be close for Levi Cox to make it to the end of this race. It's going to be very, very close for himself. But if we get a couple of more cautions, it might work out in his favor. The only issue for Levi, he's 11 laps down, so he needed every lap back if possible to even have a chance to just be 3 laps down at the end of this race. For the rest of the field, they are stacking up, getting ready to go. We got 30 drivers still on the lead lap, being led by the older tires of Timothy Harper. Everyone else, 4 tires in fuel
is a little messed up.
For this launch. Harper gets started all the way back in 36th position and spent the pit road gambles that have placed this 18 inside of our top 15 for most of this race. It's going to be a second time being
oh boy, here we go.
Restart. See if the 18 get a clean launch here. Again, 4-lap difference, just only 2 green flag laps difference. If you look at true pace that was put on these tires, you see what Harper's got. As into pit road goes, the pace car, rest of the field, stacked 2 by 2 as we are back to green flag racing here tonight at Pocono. It's Harper with a great launch, but it's the battle for second. Will it be Drew Jua or Zach Hall that keeps that second place spot?
Yeah, great launch by Timothy to keep that lead. Looks like he's got Drew Drew to the inside. Drew trying to make a move, but he's going to fall back to Zach. As they're side by side now, Drew falling a little bit further back. Going to have to fall in line here in front of his
Oh, what a push.
Timothy Harper doing a great job. Able to
Push us in plow.
first with Zach all behind him. Let's see if Zach tries to make any move or just going to wait for those tires to fall off from Timothy. As they are 2 by 2 all the way back from 6th, 1 back to the field.
And you can see the stacked trains going by and drivers trying to find openings when they can and where to take the advantage, push forward, take these spots away as the top 3, 4, 5 all in line. Like I said, 6th on back, being led by Nick Crawford and Gavin Rogers. They'll stay side by side as Joshua Kanata is just faltering backwards. Not enough drafting help. But for the lead spot, Zach Hall going to be taking his first attempt at the lead position. What's that clean air? Not able to grab it just yet. As Timothy Harper
Not a fan.
shooting down, not only enabling the one to make the pass, and it actually gives an opening for Drew Jua to take that second place spot. As Hall has to stay high, slots into 3rd. And
First 2 laps, bottom side is pretty dominant.
as everyone from 11th on back still side by side.
Challenge from Zach Hall for that lead position. Timothy Harper able to defend him from him. Drove a little bit harder than him on the outside. Got the run. But like I said, he gave room for Drew Drua to follow him through. Pushing Zach back to 3rd. That's the downside about trying to pass and not clearing it. But Timothy Harper now trying to break the draft away from Drew Drua. But that might not be a good idea. Might want to get back up there quicker than he thinks. Drew's got a good run still. And they're going to stay single file.
Drew Jua going to be going up in that second groove. Thought about almost the 3rd groove. Trying to get to the outside 4 panel of Harper. Not the case. Off the exit of turn 1. It will close in the gap. But speaking about different gaps to watch out for, a couple of drivers of note. Connor Berry in the 0-2, 5th place currently. I think he could be a dark horse to watch out as this run continues on, as well as Gavin Rogers.
Shoot, I was working
He can be quick in these moments.
them hard on the outside.
But just outside of our top 12 in 3rd.
We squeezed in.
It's Brian P. Johnson. He decided to do a similar run to Drew Jua, marches way through the field up to 13th place. And he does work.
I think here we have to enter safe mode.
The 0-2 of Connor Berry. I'm curious what speed the 0-2 will have as this run continues on.
Yeah, Connor Berry doing a phenomenal job.
Because I can't pass.
Back here, back. He's running really strong here in the 5th position, right behind Newbiggie. Let's see what he can maintain that.
They're all running like 1 lane up on purpose.
Berry can show
It ain't even worth it going low.
race big sneak away another
And now charging to the front. Drew Jua, first attempt to the outside. It's successful to keep the lead for now, but it's Timothy Harper. Contact with the 88. Pushes Drew Jua up. Zach Hall's going to take the advantage. Douglas Newbiggie, big win.
Chris Stitz, he was slow on the long run behind me.
Place position as Harper using a little bit of elbows there to keep that lead.
Yeah, I'm just trying to maintain.
Jua has to fall back to second.
Maintain and protect the outside line.
Harry saw weakness.
That's my strategy.
And Hall, similar to the move that he had to make to take the lead position before last caution. Almost had to go for a 2-for-1 special, but instead, not enough draft help. They're falling back, and now it's Lucky Ducks that are going to be in line on the outside.
Because those leaders, they're killing their tires.
passes on the inside, very little help. As
They're doing that 2-wide racing.
turn 1, I don't think Drew appreciated the use up of Timothy Harper. Gave him a little bit of a touch in the middle of the turn. So Zach Hall finally able to slot back in, back there in 4th place behind Newbigging. but Connor Berry has dropped down a few positions as Gavin Rogers is starting to make an appearance up here in the top 5.
Yeah, Rogers was settling behind, looking for chances to go forward, and with all the attempts to go to the inside that have failed, it's given chances for positions. That's why Barry fell. Oh, no,
Larry, I passed you.
Barry gets spun around as the comes to a halt on the outside of turn number 1. And another caution late.
Oh my goodness.
With 25 laps to go.
That was another one. I saw the smoke and I was like, yeah, it's probably a wreck.
Just a not square push to the rear bumper sent Connor Berry up to that outside wall. And Ken Campbell just nowhere to go. Just kind of turned him all the way around, which caused the caution.
A little bit of arca braking on my part there, but
Connor Berry doing a phenomenal job. Being the dark horse here, making his way up through the field, and that could potentially kill a strong gun for.
Well, Richard, I know this is only your second time in the booth with us here on Free Fast Broadcast. You watch plenty of our broadcasts. This is what we call a commentator's curse.
yeah, it was either 5 or 6.
Connor, I am so sorry. Praising you, was hoping for a good run at the end, but it's got up. It's with a bump here, bump there. Wrong place, wrong time.
Probably more like 5.5.
Quarter panel. And Campbell in the 0-2 goes spinning around. And luckily for the rest of the field, no one else clobbering into this incident. Plenty of space and time to avoid both drivers, and we'll take the fact that it was only a 2-car incident when it could have been plenty more.
Yeah, I might be the first time, first season up here in the booth and only my second race, but I think I have fallen actually to your commentator curse last season, Sam. So, yeah, as soon as that happened, I was like, well, there it is. There's the first one for the season. So, Connor, unfortunate to see, man. That's not what, we never hope for that to ever happen, but hope, unfortunate situation. Hope we can get some damage fixed and he can still make a strong charge up through the field to get.
I don't think there's enough tire difference to pit.
Luckily, no.
Some of the guys behind me are talking about pitting, but
it's going to have optional to work with. As for us, though,
I don't think it's enough.
5 laps to go.
Because I witnessed
it is one of those races where
guys with like 10 lap different tires. They couldn't do anything.
Quick commercial break. When we come back, more Pocono action. Who will win the second race of the season? Find out right after
I ain't
this
pitting.
with more Pocono action.
Ain't nobody else in front of me pitting. They all know. I got one taker, 2 taker behind me maybe. Nope, he pulled off.
Pit road is closed. Car, and got the lucky dog. Let him by on the outside. Let the pen car by.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate situation to be in the back right now.
Can I choose outside lane?
Yeah, you got lane choice.
That's what 25. Don't mind if I do. But only if you're an even car number.
All right, man, we're going
Those
green.
are the only
Next time
cars
by.
that get lane
All right,
choice.
man, line up on the inside row.
Well, 18's an even number.
Timothy was able to
I
hold
would've
it that
said
whole
odd,
time, hold the
but
lead
I'm
the
also
entire
an
time.
even
That's
number, So I
impressive.
couldn't hurt myself.
Odd numbers get their laps back.
I like that idea.
New tires, position 22 back.
Odd numbers. You guys can get thrown into the grandstands. That's what
Excuse
odd
me.
numbers get.
It's kind of mixed up, 22 back, but 22, Ross Tatum, car number 21 is the first car with new tires.
They're 5 wide behind the fifth. Oh my, the 5 right here. This ain't gonna work. They make it last. Bumping and banging to the end. They're beating banging for the lead. Sora still with a shot here. Coming off a board.
I'm gonna duck low.
Bottom line, here it comes. Oh no, Carter gets wrecked.
Okay.
It's gonna be that Nick Crawford. The 74 gets through somehow, and they just completely demolish one another. Driving down low, drifting up, trying to be the stealer. Here he comes. Cedric Hunter. He steals it. But he somehow drove it in according to Reckon. Oh, they wrecked! They wrecked each other. The top two bounced into one another. Just too much of side drifting off of, and they got to be careful. Oh no! The 4 demolishes in the 28.
The pace car's in.
The back, ladies and gentlemen, as we get ourselves prepared to get back to racing action. 21 laps to go, and it's Timothy Harper, Drew Jua going to be your front runners as green flag is out. The 18 has been launched, but it's Drew Jua trying to cut off the one on the outside, able to do so as everyone fanning out further on back for some big position gains, but for the top spot, it's the old tires versus the new. Harper still able to hold on for this top spot. The question is, who will survive the madness of everyone trying to take this second place position for an attempt to go for the lead?
Yeah, Timothy Harper doing a fantastic job maintaining the lead on older tires, and they are too wide as Gavin Rogers now got his name up there in the top 5. Lucky Ducks have been separated by Zach Hall and Gavin. Zach Hall leading that inside line, but I think Gavin's got the preferred, gets able to let in Zach Hall, and Newbigin falling in behind Gavin as well as they dive into turn 3.
Go down to turn number 3, the much lower banked course of all of them, mimicked off of the Milwaukee Mile, only 6 degrees of banking, but it gives us all the action for this massive straightaway. All of the people weaving back and forth, what we call snaking action as Harper rolls back.
Oh,
but looking at Gavin Rogers, he's got some sneaky speed, also sneaking their way into interior, as well as Brian Kelly in 7th and 8th. Brian B. Johnson is finally back in the top 10. Same for Larry Yingling. It just looks like the cream starting to rise to the top as we go further and further into this run. As we're coming up to 20 laps to go, it is still anyone's game to take this win. Also, note to
there was a car that appeared below me, and that scared the crap out of him.
The driver to watch out on that.
It was a yellow car.
Forward. He's one of those drivers.
Oh my goodness!
Tires under this last caution. He's going to be trying to make that try forward.
Yeah, like you said, the cream of the crop has definitely reached their way to the front here. The drivers we kind of expected to see up front have made it there, as we're all still just kind of lining up, taking it easy, but trying to make their moves where they can. But yeah, we're going to see what these drivers like Ross Tatum that's hit for tires there under that last caution. We'll see if that 9-lap difference can make a difference. And Ross moving his way up through the field little by little, so that might be a difference. If this race goes green the rest of the time, that could be the difference on whether or not he wins the race or how far he can get.
We got to go back up front. Drew Jua entering the turn tunnel. We saw the same corner pass made multiple times. And Drew now to the top spot. Other drivers muscling their way forward. Nick Crawford pushing Douglas Newbigin up, pushing to that 7 outside of the top 10. The 74 and the 7 got to be careful off the exit of turn number 3. But it's all Drew Jua pulling away at this time. But Gavin Rogers now going to be the new head runner trying to run down that 88.
Yeah, Timothy Harper unable to keep Drew Jua behind him. Drew Jua with a massive lead there. Gavin Rogers now taking 3rd spot. Hall.
That was an honest answer.
Marion has got his name up there now as he's challenging Zach Hall for the position.
The controller wizard of going to be Shane Terrian, one of the very few controller drivers on the
Everybody around me is using more time than I am.
machine. Makes it look easy at times. Attempted to go for that third place and fourth place position, but the outside group, two in line. But a hard contact can be made by Brian P. Johnson as well as Douglas Newbigin. And the outside wall gives a chance for Shane Terrian to try to slot his way in between, but they just have too much exit speed. The 9 faltering, but multiple drivers starting to brush that outside wall each and every corner. I mean, this is getting to that point, Richard, where who's going to have a right side left of their vehicle at the end of the day?
I think every single one of these drivers are painting their name on outside of turn 3 there. But Shane Terrian is able to get some drafting help from Brian B. Johnson, who is recovered from his EOL to start this race off. Up here with his name for a potential win also as they're all slotting back in, and Douglas Newbigin seems to be faltering a little bit as he's fallen back all the way back to
Ollie, I really wish you learned it doesn't always benefit you to take it 3 wide, dude.
Someone's going to be not able to find a footing to go forward. He just continues to drop backwards. But up front, still Drew Jewell with the top spot. Timothy Harper keeping it close for now. Kevin Rogers, Zach Paul.
As long as I don't lose track position, I think I'm saving a little bit.
Scenario they're in. If you can go for a major pass now, you could be the sitting duck leader in the run. Tires are going to be so critical in those final 8 to 5 laps. So everyone in
I don't know if that's going to be worth it or not. I mean, I can't pass. That's why nobody in front of me is passing.
not allowed.
You just cannot pass right now.
For Timothy Harper to hold you back, you have to stay in reaching distance to Drew Jewell if you want to catch him. Drew, on the other hand, is trying to figure out how to just pull away and hold back the rest of the crew.
Yeah, but those passes they have to make it quick. They have to make it clean. They can't go side by side with Timothy out of the turn. That pass has to be made in the turn with clearing them out. So you got to get in front of him out of the turn and get right in front, because if you don't, you're just going to leave that position open for the guy behind you, and you're just going to fall like a rock. So it's all about timing, whether you've got the momentum to be able to make that pass. So it's just a matter of time when they know they can make that pass or not. But even though we've got 16 laps to go, it might not seem like a lot. But this track is also 22 miles long. It's taken them about a minute to get around, so that's still quite a bit of racing to go. They still have a decent amount of time, but those laps are still going to tick by and count down really quick.
Especially if we get a caution, that's going to take away at least 3 to 4 laps. These drivers do not want to lose. They want every lap possible for an attempt to go for a pass, as Gavin Rogers looks to be setting up a run to get by Timothy Harper. And the question is, how much assistance will Gavin Rogers be given? Again, Gavin Rogers, third car in line, 77 on the car, 75 on our ticker. As Gavin Rogers and Paul, will they work as one to get by this 18, or do you just follow and hope that Timothy Harper can guide you to catch up to Drew Jewell? Jewell stays low, everyone else staying in line, and this is the attempt for Gavin Rogers to go for second place. Harper, small contact into that 77 machine, as Hall will follow in suit, but Drew Jewell just looked like he was going back and forth so much, lost so much momentum, backs off, holds up Rogers. Harper doesn't want to give up second, the 18, with a strong run off of 1.
Taking tires this time, though.
Rogers able to make the pass coming out of 1, but Harper, phenomenal momentum coming out of this. Caution's on the track.
Trouble further on
Hey, can you guys do that somewhere else? I
basically
really don't want
racing for
damage.
last, and it's Connor Berry and Levi Cox getting into one another as they were exiting out of turn number 1. And with 50,
Hell no, it's only 10 to go, isn't it?
Field's got a hard decision. Do you pit for
I was thinking it was 20 to go.
But first, here's the replay. This
caution.
caution just exiting the corner. Connor Berry body slamming the 99 off the exit of the corner. Could not make the corner at all. And with oncoming traffic being 2 sideways, that's what brought out our caution.
Yeah, unfortunate for Connor getting involved in a wreck earlier or last caution. You know, having a really strong.
I feel like I'm
getting involved
right near that spot where
not just unable to clear.
I might can make it work if, like,
smoothly. Just gets up into the 99. They both get up into the wall.
let's say 10 people stay out in front of me.
And that's what brings out the caution.
Everybody comes in.
Unfortunate moment.
Would be golden, but
Looking at the way that those
If we come out in 25th, I'm screwed. You know, so it sucks.
We're about to come to blows on track with the way that they were slicing and dicing back and forth.
Good, Connor.
Timothy Harper, I think he's willing to use up another driver if he's got a chance to keep that position. The question is, would any other driver be willing to risk that same risk and reward, token for themselves? Because you easily
Should I just stay out and YOLO it?
bad bump on the side, but the same notion, you can be rewarded with a great pass that can make you a chance to go for this lead spot. Curious on what the aggression level will be here moving forward, but also, Richard, the tough question, the tough ask.
I really want to stay out and YOLO it.
Here tonight for tires, because this is most likely the last time you're going to pit.
Right now, I think track position is definitely far more important. It's a really hard decision because I don't know exactly what the fall off is, but it looks like Timothy Harper is going to lead quite a few drivers down to pit road. No, a lot of fakes
My
happen.
teammates called it out.
Come in though, first driver from high up going to take pits. Huge fake of going into the pits.
Car 78. Got the lucky dog. Let
Track
it by on the
position is,
outside.
Looks like they're going to be staying out.
yeah, tires might be crap, but
This is
track
what
position
we
is.
see. Our 20-lap old tires
Dang.
that much slower than
78
fresh.
car by.
This is where excitement is going to happen.
If you had a real life spotter, this is where you make the big bucks. Of if you stay,
Yeah, I got you, Derek.
you come in and get tires, and
If there was only like 1, 2, maybe 3 people staying out and everybody else going in, I would have went in. But if it was like split more 50-50, I was going to stay out.
needed an advantage to take these.
But it was more like
I love the call by the
most
seven.
people stayed out, so I'm good.
Problem, he's going to be back all the way in 7th
Well,
position.
I may not be good. New tires, 17th back.
You're going to need Herculean type
that's-
moves to go forward in this chart.
We're gonna see what happens here. They're right behind me.
I've seen it all night. It is difficult to go forward in a short duration amount of time.
It is very difficult. That's where the hard decision was coming. Like I was saying, track position, I think here at Pocono is definitely king when it comes to tires or position. So, but I mean, Douglas Newbiggie, he was just falling back. He was really off the pace. He needed something to work for him. So why not gamble, take the tires and try to make the moves? I mean, he's got the speed to do it. He's got the pace to do it. I think he's got a lot of faith in himself and a lot of faith in his
And the racing kind of sucks. I mean, because we get single file and that
over any
nobody.
once.
It don't matter your skill level.
The field, it's going to be
You just can't do anything
16 that are going to be the drivers on older tires.
until the tires wear out
Chad
after like 20, 30 laps.
But they also were dealing with some slight damage for themselves. 17th place is where we find Drew Jua, Chris Ditz, GT Rosari, Ross Tatum, John Ross, and many of others that came into pit
All right, man,
road.
we're going
The
green
one
next
driver
time,
note that pitted is Douglas Newbiggie. He's the one driver that's been inside of our top 10 all night long. And he has been there, he's looked strong. But now is the question, will he have the help? Because that's been the
Yeah, I'll take whatever I can get, but got to get to that outside line, or you're just going to be shipped to the back. That's the problem.
If you want the straightaways, it really will enhance
Like-
the tires the most.
Like to be aggressive, what do you do?
They got to have some friends back there that are willing to work with them because, like we were
Push somebody off into the turn, maybe?
This is quick because if you get stuck on that inside, even with new tires, that draft is going to, triumph over your newer tires. So
There's just not a lot of
back
options.
there because you're going to need them now, if anything, to try to get your way back up front.
As we are coming up to the final stages of
That's what
the
sucks.
race, it's going to be new tires first old. But we want to say thank you again to our amazing sponsors that help out here in the WSSR Cup Series. First and foremost, I want to say thank you to GTR Simulators. GTR Simulators is a great place to go if you're looking to have a race
Oh, yeah.
rig that is easy to find.
I got you, Derek.
As well, affordable to be used. GTR Simulators is partnered up
If you go low, you're screwed.
team of Stake F1 Team Kick Salver to have them set
Unless there's a big accordion. If there's a big accordion,
a compact V2.
you might can get one car by going low.
foldable
That's
race
only if a hole opens up and you get back into
product
the top line.
the Salver Motorsports AG team. And if you'd like to go get yourself that foldable compact,
So really what I need to do here is just watch everybody else and try to pick
GTRsimulator.com and use the promo code
where stuff like that's going to happen at.
SSR for 10% off. Again, that's WSSR for 10%.
So this is more strategy, I think.
GTRsimulators.com. As well, thank you to TrophySmack.com. Go head over there, use the promo code WSSR smack for 10% off. As the drivers are close to 10 to go, it's Drew Jua, Timothy Harper. Will they be able to hold off those back in 17th and 18th place, or is it only a duel of those up front now? It's time to find out. Top two going to be in line. It's side by side for third place on back. And Richard, here we go. It's time for the fun here at Pocono.
This is where the sparks are going to fly, and as we saw it earlier, Timothy Harper is not afraid to lean on other drivers, which is how he was able to get back by around Gavin Rogers. But Gavin on the inside there, that outside has got a little bit more momentum, but Gavin's doing a good job maintaining right there next to the
I messed up entry on that one.
Trying to get underneath Zach, not able to. Going to try to clear Shane, not able to either. But Drew Jua out front is just a massive gap behind to Timothy Harper.
Great run for himself as we go through this first initial lap. It's still Drew Jua in a confident, commanding position at this moment. Timothy Harper racing like he's in the lead right now, trying to keep this position the best that he can. Zach Hall, Shane Terrian, as well as Gavin Rogers, Ryan Kelly, all in line, trying to make their way go forward.
Oh, what a push.
Wishes
I had to let out.
She's gone backwards after one lap. Douglas Newbiggie, he has fallen back to 18th place.
So did everybody else.
In the charge with fresh rubber, given to the 17 of Chris Stitz at 16th place.
Inside, 3 wide, you're in the middle.
Stitz doing a fantastic job back there. The newest tires there, the highest.
Is that new tire? That might be new tire.
Just trying to get into some kind of rhythm so he can make a charge up front, but he is just getting challenged left and right as they are 2 wide behind him and 2 wide in front of him. Hopefully he can get in line here and get some good drafting help.
Yeah, that's new-ish tire.
But he's just seems to be struggling a little bit trying to.
It ain't the 3-lap better tire though.
There's no space.
He pitted last go around.
Enough maybe, but it is just not working out. You can see all the drivers scattering. Once one hits the wall, everyone accordion effect to get around. Speaking about getting around, Timothy Harper in trouble getting around.
He got me.
The timing move.
That's how you do it there. You wait for the accordion.
Position 18 not giving up right to the quarter panel.
Now that's new tire to my left.
One, it works out. They stay side by side, but they're losing ground to Drew Jua in the 88, who just looks perfect at this moment. Timothy Harper being the best blocker that this 88 can look for.
Timothy Harper's doing a fantastic job playing defense for his position. He's just able to keep the drivers low, not letting them run up the track and get the run, but Gavin's going to try and give Zach a shove. Nope, he's going to go right back up behind Timothy Harper, trying to take that outside line to get a run down the front stretch. But Zach looks like he's going to be able to clear Timothy Harper, but is he going to have the momentum? He looks low. A great block by Zach. He's going to have to fall back behind. Not enough momentum, but they are pushing each other down the front stretch to try to make a run towards Drew.
With that pass, lost to 2 tenths, but with the bump, gains a 10th back. A huge pass by Zach Hall, and now
these new tires, I can't compete with it.
88 change. It's a half-second difference as they cross the line with 8 laps to go. Fresh rubber is on the charge, but they're still back in 15th and 16th place. Douglas Newbiggie is finally able to get by Chris Stitz and is finally starting to show signs of movement. But
maybe I should have bid it.
Like the gap is just too large, and there's again the big trouble of no draft assistance for the 7th machine. He might have 20 lap advantage on tires, but a draft help on these straightaways is king right now at Pocono.
Yeah, it's sad to see Newbiggie, the first driver to take new tires, and just unable to get the moves forward. He is making a little bit of passes here and there, but just not enough speed. I don't think he's going to be a contender for a win. He might be able to squeak into the top 10. That's a possibility. But there he is running back at the 14th position. Still not bad. Challenging for that 13th from Cody Reed, our last.
New tire is able to run on the bottom and still be somewhat competitive.
But that outside line has just got the momentum out of the turns. If you can't make that pass, it is so hard to be able to beat them down the straightaway.
But Richard, top right when Zach Hall crossed the line. Fastest lap of the whole entire race on 26 lap old tires. Hall just put down the fastest lap. It was a 52.684 second time. That is 2 tenths faster than anyone that's in our top spots. Best laps of the race. Hall is matching and trying to put down burner after burner to catch up the 88. Now the question is he have the speed to contact and go catch up? Or will we have a caution? Cody Reed is spun out on the front stretch. We will have a yellow and a late race restart.
Unfortunate. Zach Hall is definitely throwing down qualifying laps. Did not want to see that caution come out because he was chasing down Drew. Unfortunate situation. The back there of Cody Reed.
Yeah, I'm in the worst position. New tires right behind me.
There, that's right by Douglas Newbig. He's a bad push trying to get to the hole.
But only two new tires was able to make it up to me. Everybody else was still. This Ken behind me is on old tires, but everybody else behind that is new.
Sorry guys, just lost
Take
talent
another
there.
look maybe from an aerial view. You can see the fact that 25
Not that I really had
is trying to hold back Douglas Newbig here. And he's trying to get back into the throttle down low. Old tires, it's very tough to do. And just a slight wiggle there. And then there's the contact by Douglas Newbig. And Cody Reed, very lucky not to hit those water barrels, though.
Yeah, he didn't hit those water barrels. That would have been the end of his night. That would have been the entire game. But yeah, just a little bit of loose coming out of the turn. That's expected out of turn 3, especially on older tires. And just Newbig, you know where to kind of go. Had the momentum, just a little bit of tap.
My plan was going to be just pushing past the guy,
not really any damage
that's
either.
in
He's
front of
the
him like a crab.
so probably the most exciting accident we've had tonight, to be honest.
I mean, it's thrilling and riding on board with that 25 right there. A winner from last week. Big scare, big save. Cody Reed will race for another few laps. The question now looms. Caution flag came out with 6 to go. When we're at any other track, our traditional 1.5 miles, 1 mile courses, I would automatically throw my hands up in the air and say we're going to overtime. It's going to be very close. But with us being at a bigger track, a 2 mile course, it is one of those racetracks where they try to speed up, trying to get back to green flag racing. We could be, instead of a regulation, green checkered. We see these race laps turn around if we will be going straight to overtime or if we will stay here inside of regulation. It's one of those oddball situations, Richard, that's always tough on a driver of, are we in overtime yet or are we not?
I mean, honestly, the only thing that really matters at this point is just whether we have 4 green-white checkered attempts or 3. So inside regulation is always great to see, but I mean, overtime has added a great bit of excitement to the end of these races because we want to make sure that these drivers finish under green flag conditions. You hate seeing races finish under yellow, but I mean, Zach probably was not hoping for that caution to come out. He was running phenomenal pace and laps on old tires, running the fastest lap of the race, trying to chase down Drew, and he definitely was within arm reach of Drew in that leading position.
He definitely was, and I think this is going to be a perfect time to try to chat with some of those drivers up front, get a feel of how they are feeling after an incredible start. Let's start off with our stage winner, being Zach Hall in the 1 machine. Let's see if we can cue him up, get a sense of how Hall is feeling for the upcoming restart. Zach Hall, it's Sam and Richard up in the booth. You won the stage. You're now in second for this upcoming restart. How are you feeling?
Thank you, Derek.
With the timing of that yellow and being in the position you're in.
Pretty good. I mean,
have a good night.
Yellow. I wanted to kind of play out there. I was gonna get to Drew there, and I mean, I don't know if I was gonna get by him. It's so tough to pass like the leader and kind of do things like that. So I didn't know if I was gonna be able to get by.
The future has in store for us a couple more green flag checkers, I believe.
Exactly here, but whatever
green white checkers.
This pick will really decide a lot of what I do. So I feel confident at the end of the day because I mean the speed I think has been actually really good, especially the longer we go. It seems like I can keep the right rear underneath me. So it seems like he's taking the top. So we're starting on the bottom, and we'll see how this goes. Definitely don't want to be down here, but we'll take it.
Yeah, you got Timothy Harper also sitting behind you. He has obviously showed that he is not afraid to show some elbow with a little bit of fender touches between you and Gavin we've seen. Or, you know, who are you expecting to work with near the end of this race? And, you know, who do you think is going to help you out?
Well, I got to give Gavin a huge credit. He's been giving me some good shows. So if I can get hooked up with him, that'd be nice. But of course, he's going to be on the outside here. It's going to give Drew a good pushing part. I mean, 18's a new guy. He's raced really good up here. Of course, he's got his elbows.
Now we really got the new tires behind us.
So we'll see how he pushes here. I mean, hopefully he can give me a big push.
On my bumper, kind of behind us.
Go 3 wide, but I mean, hey, it's racing at the end of the day. You got to be ready.
I'm literally in a hornet's nest.
Maneuver out there. So, Pocono, we'll see how it fans out when we get down here to 1. I'm sure people are going to be, so to say, losing their minds trying to get any spot they can.
Absolutely. Well, Zach,
should have pitted. Could have got
good luck.
probably a few positions out of it.
Talk to you at the end of the night.
Thanks, guys.
as that will be Zach Hall in the one machine from Snowy Desert Racing, winner of our stage, pole sitter. And here tonight,
hindsight's 2020 though.
what we were hoping for, it's an inside the regulation green, white checker. It's going to be simple. It's going to be 2 laps when we go green. If we take the white flag to get to the last lap,
All I gotta do is here is dodge the wrecks.
official. It's all about who takes the checkered after that. But if we get a caution in this first lap when we go green, we will head into overtime where we have 3 overtime attempts waiting for us if they need to be used. But first, it's going to be Drew Jewell, Zach Hall up front, Gavin Rogers on the outside of row number 2, Timothy Harper on the inside of row number 2. Richard, any final thoughts before we get ready to take off here, what potentially is our last restart of the night?
Buckle in, boys. Grip those wheels. This is going to be a wild ride for a natural green-white checkered within regulation. I think no driver is going to hold anything back. The elbows are sharp. They're ready to shove their weight in front. I'm excited to see what these drivers can do and give us this last bit of excitement, last bit of fireworks for this end of this race.
Are we going to keep it clean, or do we just ruffle some feathers? It's time to find out. Drew Jewell had to work his way all the way through the field to be in this position to lead this restart. Zach Hall took the pole and is hoping to be the driver that enters into victory lane for the first time this season. Green flag gets out. First attempt. Here we go. Do we need overtime, or do we finish this race in regulation? Drew Jewell with the best launch you could ask for. Gavin Rogers, Zach Hall going to be side by side into turn number 1. But Hall, huge dive bomb move. But watch out for the momentum. Will he get the push or get past up the exit?
Looks like he's going to put himself up in front of Gavin Rogers, trying to break Gavin Rogers' momentum. Gavin, instead of going low, decides to just push Zach Hall because they need to work together. They need to catch Drew Jewell as they come around the tunnel turn of turn 2 here. Still pretty far ways back, but great momentum coming in, especially from that push from Gavin. Zach Hall closing a little bit of gap into Drew as they dive into turn.
Oh my goodness.
Let's see
We all did it.
across the rest of this turn of front stretch and take the white flag, because this race will be official if they can catch this flag. Unless they're fanning out on the back of for the front stretch down the turn. But there's the white flag. This race is official.
Officially out. It's Timothy Harper and Nick Crawford to get into one another. Hard push out to the 18. Will drop quickly outside the top 20. But up front, it's Drew Jewell, Zach Hall, Gavin Rogers, your top 3. The big run should be going to Gavin Rogers on the straightaway for the 77. Hall trying to follow Drew Jewell as much as he can. It's going to have to be a little bit of teamwork, a little bit of friendly action. Every finish at Pocono in the past year has been within 2 tenths. They're within 3. Rogers, though, wants to take second, has to get back in line, but it's Drew Jewell on the 88 machine. No threat around. Going to be one of the biggest finishes in gap-wise.
Well, we got beat up there.
Paul gave it his all, but it wasn't enough. Drew Jewell fought from the back to the front. A victory lane.
Got a little beat up on that one. Wow, that last turn.
Phenomenal job tonight coming from the back of the
Man, everybody was hitting me.
through traffic and taking the win. Not just a class of his own at the end of this race. They could not catch
I think I went from like 17th to 26. Wow.
But exciting racing, especially for Drew. Fantastic.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure we were 4 wide going in a tunnel turn.
I don't even know what's going on right now.
And they were.
And then I didn't shift, so I was stuck in 4th.
Stretch further on back. Drew Jewell was giving some bumps from Gavin Rogers. Looks like the 88 is finally able to take off and go. As Lucky Duck drivers trying to get around.
Yeah, we were 4 wide here. I knew we were.
Bump.
So I was going to let the red car up, and then the 18
what a run. I mean, it was
wanting to go 4. And then I stayed in 4th.
That we saw on the first stage.
Forgot to shift like a big dummy.
Inside of the top 10.
And then I thought we were good here.
Let alone the fact that he
and then the 77
took the lead. There was no one touching. This 88
just sent it in the 3.
First win of
4 wide.
And honestly, might be a sign of many more to come for this 88 machine that we knew was going to be strong last season.
Wow, what a
unfortunate luck early on, but this
I ain't even mad. That's crazy.
To go for a championship campaign.
Yeah, that is a great start, in race number 2 of the season.
And then the 77 dive bombing me scared the crap out of me. That's why you see my reaction there. coming up into 26 like that.
Any track to be able to come from the very back like he did, work his way up through the field.
There's no way both was going to make it. Somebody was wrecking there.
And just be in a class of his own once he grabbed
because the 77 went straight to the 26
from Zach Hall and Gavin Rogers and everybody else. Just a phenomenal dominating win coming from Drew Jewett tonight.
I mean, if I wouldn't have twitched, all three of us would just hit, and it would have been Drew's fault. But
winner of Drew Jewett, second place is Zach Hall, third place Gavin Rogers, and a spotlight.
It was fun.
Right after this,
y'all have a good one.
It's the post-race show for Pocono here tonight.
Actually, let me back it up. Did we miss anything back here? Something happened with that 18.